Welcome back, Recruit. One of our key tools in the field is Python, a general-purpose programming language. Developed by Guido van Rossum in 1991, it has quickly become one of the most popular programming languages in the world. Python has many advantages that you'll soon discover. Developers can learn it quickly, it typically involves less code than other languages, and the syntax is easier to read. It's utilized in some capacity by pretty much every major technology company in the world, and most importantly, it has an overwhelming amount of additional open source libraries to help you accomplish any task you can pretty much think of, whether it's web scraping, working with images, reading PDFs, reading CSV files, sending emails. There's a library already written in Python that can help you accomplish these things. To install Python, we will use the free Anaconda distribution. This distribution not only includes Python, but it also has many other useful libraries, including the Jupyter Notebook system and even the Spider development environment. Anaconda can also easily be installed onto any major operating system, including Windows, macOS, or Linux. There's also Miniconda, which is a smaller sized version of Anaconda in case you don't want to install or download such a large file. To begin installation, go to www.anaconda.com/downloads. Let's head to that website and walk you through the installation process. Welcome to the download page, Recruit. So at anaconda.com/download, the website will look something similar to this. It may be updated from time to time as far as the look and feel, but in general, it will have the download links for the various installers for the Windows, macOS, and Linux systems. And if you click on one of these, you'll be brought down to the actual download links for the graphical installers or the command line installers. By the time you view this page, it's most likely that 3.7 or 3.8 or even 3.9 has been released, so keep that in mind. Any version of Python 3 should be fine for our use cases. Now, if you're on Windows, you'll go ahead and download the graphical installer, 64-bit or 32-bit, depending on your computer. Most newer computers are going to be 64-bit. And if you have any questions on that, you can click to learn more. But basically, this is just a graphical installer. It's a wizard that's going to walk you step by step on the installation process. So for Windows users, click on this graphical installer, download it. If you're on Mac OS, click on this graphical installer and download it. And then if you're on Linux, you'll be clicking on this installer and downloading it. Keep in mind that Linux users have a command line installer, and you'll have to type commands that we'll show you in just a second. Once you've decided which version you're going to download, scroll down a little bit and click here where it says how to install Anaconda. And depending on what operating system you're currently on, it will take you to one of these three pages. Here you can see installing on Windows, and it has step-by-step instructions for installing. The graphical installers are really quite straightforward. You just select the defaults, hit next, and follow along with these step-by-step instructions. You don't need to worry about number 2 as far as verifying the data integrity. If you're on Mac OS, it's basically the same thing. If you click on that link on how to install, it will guide you through the graphical installation process for Mac OS. Again, step-by-step process, pretty straightforward. Just hit continue on all the screens. If you're on Linux, it's going to be slightly different. What you need to do is you'll be downloading a .sh file, and then at your command line or terminal, you'll be running this following command: bash, and then right here, downloads Anaconda 3, and then whatever version you happen to be clicking on. Basically just copy and paste this command into your terminal. A quick note for Windows users, and this is a pretty important one. You'll eventually have a screen that looks like this, saying Advanced Installation Options, and you can choose whether or not you want to add Anaconda to your path environment variable. Anaconda themselves recommends to not add Anaconda as a path environment variable, since this can interfere with other software. Typically, what it's going to interfere with is previous downloads of Python. However, since this is probably your first download of Python, we actually highly recommend that you do add Anaconda to your path environment variable. This will allow you to call Conda-specific commands directly at your command line. Again, for Windows users, we do recommend that you add Anaconda to your path environment variable. When you click on it, you'll notice that it says not recommended. It'll highlight in red. Go ahead and click on it anyways, and then hit install. Now, as we previously mentioned, these graphical installation files include Anaconda, Python, and many other libraries in this distribution. So you'll notice that it's actually quite a large file. It's about 0.5 GB. Depending on your internet connection or the space available on your computer, you may not want to actually download and install all these libraries. Instead, you probably just want the basics of Python. For that use case, you can look for conda.io/miniconda-html, or just Google search for miniconda, and it will take you to the miniconda links for the installers. And it's basically the exact same thing, except it's a much smaller file, and it doesn't include a variety of the libraries, which you don't really need to worry about. So there's one for Windows, Mac OS, and Linux. So if you're interested in a much smaller file download, you can use those installers as well. However, we do recommend that if you have the bandwidth and the space, that you just download the full Anaconda installation. Once you've successfully downloaded and gone through the installation steps for Anaconda, you should be able to search your computer for Anaconda Navigator. This is a desktop app that allows you to quickly launch Jupyter Notebooks. So go ahead and confirm your installation by clicking on Anaconda Navigator. It will load up, and eventually you'll see something that looks like this, with little quick dashboards that allow you to launch different development environments. There's the Jupyter Notebook, our main development environment. There's the Qt console, Spider, another integrated development environment. There's also other things like GlueViz, Jupyter Lab, and even RStudio. If you decide to later on learn R, you can install that as well, with just a click of a button. But we're going to be using the Anaconda Navigator to quickly launch Jupyter Notebooks. So now that we have Anaconda and Python installed on your computer, you should be able to open up the Anaconda Navigator. Up next, we'll discuss how to actually run Python code, either as a script at the command line or using the Jupyter Notebook. We'll see you there, recruit.